Hello friends, in this video I am going to make you revise chapter 1 Variation in Psychological Attributes by presenting a flowchart which will help you to score well in the objectives. The very first thing which you need to understand in this chapter is variation in individual differences. What is the meaning of this? That is distinctiveness and variation among people's characteristic and behavior pattern. यानी कि हम सब एक दूसरे से अलग हैं. Now, so students, as you all know, we differ from each other on the basis of physical as well as psychological characteristics. You all know about the physical characteristics like height, weight, color, through which we are different from each other. Then beside this, you had already studied in this chapter about attributes, psychological attributes which makes us different from each other, that is personality, aptitude, interest, values and intelligence. So let's revise the definition of all these attributes. First, personality. It is relatively enduring characteristic of an individual that make him or her distinct from others. Then next is aptitude, that is inherent potential to acquire skills. Example DAT, differential aptitude test. Next characteristic is interest. Individuals' preference for some activities over others. Next, values. Enduring beliefs about an ideal mode of behavior. Next, we come over to intelligence, the global capacity to understand the world, think rationally, and use available resources effectively when faced with challenges. Now, I am going to discuss with you intelligence in detail. See, some definitions of intelligence are really very important, which you should revise properly before you go for your examination. So let's discuss them. First, according to Oxford Dictionary, what is intelligence? It is power of perceiving, learning, understanding and knowing. Next, according to Wechsler, it's the most important definition, global and aggregate capacity of an individual to think rationally, act purposefully, and to deal effectively with the environment. Next, Alfred Binet. Alfred Binet defined intelligence as an ability to understand well, judge well, and reason well. Now let's revise assessment methods in short. First method which you all have studied is interview, that is one-to-one interaction. It is structured and unstructured also at times. Then observation, that is systematic procedure to observe behavior. Then self-report, seeking factual information. Then psychological test, objective analysis of psychological attributes. Case study, in-depth study of an individual. Then in this chapter you had studied about different theories of intelligence. As you all know, there are two types of theories of intelligence. First, I'm going to discuss information processing approach to intelligence. It describes the processes people use in intellectual reasoning and problem solving. Okay, you must have already read. You are just revising with me this chapter. In case if you have any problems, then you can go through other videos, detailed videos on this chapter. Okay, so now I start up the discussion on the theories of intelligence in short. First, triarchic theory of intelligence. Students, as you all know, this theory was given by Robert Sternberg. This theory talks about three types of intelligence: computational intelligence, experiential intelligence, and contextual intelligence. Then, pass model, which is very important theory from the point of view of your exam, was given by J.P. Das, Naglieri, and Kirby. Okay, their names are typical, but you need to remember because they are asked in your exams. According to this theory, intellectual activity involves interdependent functioning of three neurological systems called functional unit of brain. These are arousal or attention, simultaneous and successive processing, and planning. Next theory in your syllabus is theory of multiple intelligence. It was given by Gardner. Intelligence is of 8 types according to this theory: linguistic, logical and mathematical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. Now let's talk about psychometric approach. Psychometric approach considers intelligence as an aggregate of abilities. So in this we'll talk about different theories. First, unifactor theory. It was given by Alfred Binet. It is also known as one factor theory. According to this, intelligence consists of one similar set of abilities used for solving any or every problem. Then, next psychometric theory is two-factor theory. It was given by Charles Spearman in 1927. Intelligence consists of general and specific factor according to this theory. Then we have theory of primary mental abilities. This theory was given by Louis Thurston. Intelligence, according to him, has 7 primary mental abilities that are verbal comprehension, numerical abilities, spatial relation, perceptual speed, word fluency, memory, inductive reasoning. Next, we have a structure of intellect model by J.P. Guilford. This model classifies intellectual traits among 3 dimensions. You must have read it. Now you will revise this. They are operations, contents, and products. Then let me tell you little bit about operation. Operation refers to what the respondent does. Okay, then the content, the nature of material or information on which intellectual operations are performed. Example, visual, auditory. Then, product, that is the form in which the information is processed by the respondent. Now, the classification includes 6 into 5 into 6 category. Thus, this model has 180 cells. Next model is hierarchical model of intelligence given by Arthur Jensen. According to this model, intellectual abilities operate at two levels. First, associative learning, and second, cognitive competence. Okay, students, now we'll discuss about assessment of intelligence. When did it begin? It began in 1905. The first successful attempt to measure intelligence, as you all know, was done by Alfred Binet and Simon. This is very important. Next, in 1908, he gave the concept of mental age. Then, what is mental age? Students, let's revise that also. It is the measure of person's intellectual development relative to people of his or her age group. That is the then next chronological age, that is the biological age from birth. Students, in 1912, William Stern, a German psychologist, devised the concept of intelligence quotient, that is IQ. It's really very important for your exam. Calculation of IQ through the formula, that is, mental age is divided by chronological age and multiplied by 100. Really important from the point of view of your viva also. And also, why do you multiply it by 100, students? Only to avoid decimal problem it is done. Average IQ also you should know in the population, that is 100. Let's talk about bell-shaped curve. See, frequency distribution for IQ scores tends to approximate a bell-shaped curve, which is also called the normal curve. In this distribution, maximum people lie in the middle. Gradually and symmetrically, the scores decline towards both the sides, but they never touch the x-axis. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next topic of this chapter, that is types of intelligence test. Yes, there are different types of intelligence test. First, individual or group test. Okay. You need to revise all the names, important names of the individual as well as group test. Some important characteristic I will be discussing with you just now. Like a group test can be administered to several persons simultaneously, whereas individual tests can be administered to one person at a time. And children, that other, like we seek written answers in an MCQ format in a group test, whereas individual test provides us an opportunity to allow the answers come in the oral or written form, or even through manipulation of object, that is performance test. See, these group and individual tests can be verbal, non-verbal, or performance test. Okay, depending on the items which you are using. If you are using verbal items, then it will be a verbal test. If non-verbal, then non-verbal. Like you can use pictures, okay, and performance if you are requiring manipulation in the items which you are using. And it's very important for you to remember the names of the important individual test and group test, verbal and non-verbal, and performance test. Okay, so let's discuss some important examples. Individual test, it is WAIS, okay, that is Bachelor's Adult Intelligence Scale. It is both verbal and individual test. So in verbal test also you can mention the name of WAIS. Then if we talk about performance test, you have course block design test, culture fair test, also you have RPM course block design test, culture bias, again WAS for Western culture. Now students, next in your chapter is culture and intelligence. See, culture is bound to affect our intelligence, no doubt. Now, in this, you must have already studied about culture as well as intelligence. In short, I'm telling you, culture is a collective system of beliefs, customs, and attitudes. Then, students, you have in this chapter read about technological intelligence and integrated intelligence. Technological intelligence refers to Western concept, and whereas integrated intelligence refers to Indian concept. Technological intelligence mainly focuses on cognitive skills, whereas intelligence, if you talk about Indian concept, it includes cognitive capacity also, it includes social competence, it includes emotional competence, and it includes entrepreneurial competence. You get an objective question on this, that which type of competence is included in which type of intelligence, whether it is integrated intelligence or technological intelligence. So do revise it in the same manner. And now I'll talk about creativity and intelligence. Students, you must have already read that what is creativity? It refers to the ability to produce ideas, objects, and problem solutions which are novel and appropriate also. So here what is in, if see, an intelligent person may be creative, may not be creative, but a creative person is always intelligence. You do get the question on creativity and intelligence, which you need to support with the studies in your NCRTs. Okay, for example, Terman proved that high IQ does not guarantee high creativity. Okay, Guilford, Wallet, or etc., they develop the test to assess the creativity. Okay, students, now I will be discussing with you the last topic, that is nature versus nurture. There is a controversy whether intelligence is a product of nature, that is heredity, and nurture, that is environment. This answer also comes, which you will be supporting with the studies discussed in your NCRT. The role of nature, you can write identical twins study which was done. Okay, this way you should revise. Dear students, please like, share and subscribe my channel.